you are watching or listening to Connor versus Cobb, but probably neither. I am Ryan Conner.
Definitely not watching, man. They're definitely not watching.
Very few watching, but it's fine.
YouTube just keeps kicking us off.
We're banned for explicit content.
We're banned for reasonable takes.
Yeah. With me as always, star of stage and screen, and he thinks Sandusky got a raw deal, but other than that,
unbelievable,
solid guy, Nick Cobb.
Unbelievable that people just won't hear him out. It's like they've got earmuffs on. He speaks.
No one listened to the fact that he wanted to. Like, that's his whole argument. But I wanted to.
There's nothing wrong with horseplay. A little good old-fashioned horseplay. Throwing out a phrase that my dad used 40 years ago. They're just horseplay. Like, goodness.
Back in my day, we just called it getting a little Greek. A little ancient Greek. Just having our boys. Okay, well, we should change the topic a little bit. I'm actually kind of surprised
he didn't go with something that, not good, but still, if he had been like, I was just teaching him some moves. There was a kid that was being bullied. I wanted to teach him some moves. And it only buys you a few seconds because then the reporter would be like, in the shower? But still, you have that few seconds.
This is my Michael Jackson thing. Have I talked to you about this on the podcast?
I want to hear it now, since we're going to be banned anyway.
I haven't said this? Okay. Well, okay. There's a couple of reasons why it took me a little too long to believe the allegations against Michael Jackson. One, I love the music. Two, I love his chimp. Okay? Those are 1 and 2. Number 3, it was too obvious. Okay?
I'm already shaking my head.
He was doing nothing. It was too obvious. He was doing nothing to cover his tracks to suggest. You would think someone who was actually doing this would be covering his tracks. He wouldn't be like, yeah, I sleep with boys every night. Like he was open about it. He was like, I sleep with boys.
Like it was his own alibi.
Because look, it's like Robert Blake. Do you remember Robert Blake, the actor from Beretta? He killed his wife, right? But they were asked, like, did you kill your wife? And he said, no, I couldn't have killed her because at the time she was murdered, I was like looking for my gun so I could kill her. And it was like, fuck. He must be telling the truth. Who would make that up? It's so crazy. Yes. He was like, I was going to kill her and someone beat me to it.
It's not bad. I mean, as far as those things go, you're like, it's not.
Yeah.
You're so close to completely incriminating yourself that everyone is like, well, if your IQ is above 60, then maybe he's telling the truth,
Yeah.
Did you kidnap the kids? It's like, no way. I couldn't have kidnapped the kids. You know why? Because I was out in the woods looking for a shack where I could bury the kids, and I hadn't yet gotten a chance to go get them.
Yeah. It's basically the same with Michael Jackson. They'd be like, are you really sleeping with a harem of boys, of sick boys? And he's like, yeah, but that's all. That's all. I'm just sleeping with them. And so you're like, I guess he's just weird.
What do you call that one kid? Blanket. Okay, well, I'm putting 2 and 2 together, and that's not good. He called him Blanket.
I can't stop listening to his music.
I know. Look, I'm able to compartmentalize these things, and perhaps because I'm from the generation that I'm from, and we just, I think for the most part, aside from Michael Jackson and a few others, I'm sure you could reel off, we didn't necessarily believe that these like musical heroes or actor heroes or director heroes were actual heroes. I don't think we were raised believing that these were necessarily good people.
No. It was just their job.
Yes, but like his work's amazing. I don't like. I can separate it.
Yeah, it's like, look, you listen to, let's just say Dangerous. You're like, that's not. Pedophile couldn't write that. Smooth Criminal. Pedophile couldn't write that.
Right.
Keep It in the Closet. Pedophile could write that.
Yeah.
Pedophile could definitely write Keep It in the Closet. But that's the really damaging one, because that was one of my favorite Michael Jackson songs. It has like a weird whisper to it that I don't really care for, but then the hook is insane. But you just have to turn it down during the verses and pretend that he's not telling someone to keep their sexual relationship quiet.
I still, look, if Thriller's on, I'm going to listen to it. if Beat It or Bad are on. If Smooth Criminal is on, that's my favorite. Like I can't not. And
yeah,
I never doubted it for a second that he did all this stuff, and it does hurt. Like it doesn't feel as good listening to it, but I still, I'd almost rather listen to Smooth Criminal knowing he did what he did than listen to 95% of other music.
Well, here's another out we have is that I believe none of this stuff started until after Thriller. So anything Thriller earlier, maybe we may even be clear up to Dangerous. All right,
that's so funny. So it becomes a BCAD. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it really does. And we all need to come up with our own reasons for continuing to listen to Michael Jackson.
Right. I mean, but from here on out, if you're listening to him, they're going to be, if there are 10 people around, 5 of them are going to have an issue with it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, whatever. Let me tell you this. If you cannot get off the plane immediately upon landing, they should not land the plane. Just fly around. Take us to another city. Show us something to look at. I get so sick of being teased by pilots. I landed in Montreal. It was Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, 12:40 a.m. The flight is supposed to land, right? They were like, we're going to get you in early. We land at like 12:20. Guess what? Sat on the tarmac till 1:45 a.m.
Fuck off. Could you get up and go to the bathroom?
No. We're sitting there for an hour 25 because they couldn't get the jetway bridge to work. And like the airport's practically closed. So no one's working. They couldn't get it going. And then we get off.
Is this a French thing? Is this what you're saying? Like they're French hours? They don't work at night?
Dude, it took an extra hour to get our luggage. I'm like, we were already at the gate for an hour. You guys couldn't pull the luggage off the plane then?
Yeah. Sitting
at the airport from 12:20 till 2:45 a.m. in the end.
Air travel is just abysmal. I mean, it just sucks. I don't.
It's getting worse.
Yeah, I heard that Southwest, which I've been flying for years, is getting worse, and they're no longer doing the thing that they've been doing, where you like have like A1 to A30, A30, and I've heard that it's not. You're not even going to have that. It's just going to be a regular
for everything.
What's that?
I do Delta for everything, and they used to be the closest to like a great experience, and it's just degrading. And like now they even raised the price for flying with a pet. My little dog who goes under the seat, and then I can't bring a carry-on, right? That should be the trade-off, right? It's fucking $300 now.
Wait, you brought your dog with you?
No, not here. But when we go visit family on the East Coast,
Right.
Yeah. I mean, if we were just going for a couple of days, we wouldn't, but we were going for like 10 days.
Yeah.
So we bring him anyway. It's $300 now. The whole mile accumulation says, I mean, it's still better than not doing it, but it's like I get about a third of the amount of miles that I used to get for the same amount of travel. It's
I mean,
insane.
Look, put it this way. I'm to the point where if a drive is twice as long as the flight, then I'm probably going to do the drive.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's just not fun. It's just, I don't know. Maybe it's just a matter of just there's so little you're in control when you're flying. I mean, the last time I flew, I'm not making fun, but the guy next to me was probably 400 pounds and I'm big. So like, I have to kind of move to the side. So I'm facing the aisle. Like I'm like that. 'Cause there's just no room. And what they always say, oh, these people should be buying 2 seats. It's like, really? Would you really think that someone is going to buy 2 seats and then they show up? Why'd you buy 2 seats? Well, because I'm 600 pounds. Like, there's no way to regulate this.
Right.
So,
right. It's like, I understand the point, but then how inhumane does that sound as a policy? And
it's just mean. It sounds mean.
Yeah. It's so mean. And then like the idea that, oh, you're heavy. You must have double the money. Like, how does that make sense?
Right.
Too?
Yeah. Instead of actually, they probably have less. If I can tack real fast, I took my daughter to the dentist. She's got this separator thing in her mouth.
A palate spacer? Is that what it is?
Maybe.
Is it on the top of her mouth?
Yeah, and it you use a little key, and you've got to turn it every couple of days. Key is really hard to see. It's like the size of a period.
I had one of those, and no one. This is the only other time I've ever heard of anyone having it. Yeah, I had it from first grade to second.
Yeah, she has it.
Let's hear it.
And so I'm there, and anytime I'm at the dentist, I just end up bullshitting with the dentist about teeth, all that fun stuff. Just I can do 5 minutes on teeth conversation, and I tell him about I had braces for 8 years when I was a kid, 8.5 years. I don't know if you knew that or not, but I got them on when I was 6.
No.
And got them off when I was 10, back on them when I was 11 and a half, and then got them off when I was about 17.
That's early for braces. What was happening?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think they scammed my folks. Yeah. I mean, it's teeth that I was going to lose. It's your baby teeth, and it's we got to get braces on that kid's baby teeth. And I guess they're just signing checks.
Oh my God.
So I tell this to the dentist, and to my daughter's dentist, and his response was, he goes, "Wow,
your son needs a hip replacement. He's turning 7 next year." Right. Sorry. No, to step on you there.
Yeah, no, sure. Let's get hair plugs in this 3-year-old. Jesus. No, I tell him that I had braces for 8 years, and he's kind of taken aback. He's like, "Wow, that's one of the worst I've heard of. You're like the LeBron James of having braces for a long time." I mean, I know people use those kind of basketball comps all the time, but that was just the clunkiest one I've ever heard.
Did he mean you disappear in the fourth quarter of big games? Is that what he was referring to?
That's right.
Or that you just go to super teams? Is that what did he mean?
It's just the part that bothered me is actually that he said braces for a long time instead of just saying you're the LeBron James of having braces, because LeBron's had a long career. I can connect the dots.
Oh, because of the longevity of his career. I did not even follow. Okay.
Right. So I'm guessing. So but the fact that he said for a long time, it's just now it's redundant. It just it was such a mess, but I had to laugh it off because he's putting this separator on my daughter's mouth. But I wanted to be, you're the Caitlin Clark of intimacy issues and keeping people at an arm's length. And just
you should have said, I have some notes.
Yeah, about that writing that you just did there.
It's so clunky.
Yeah.
I had someone recently, I cannot remember what it was, but it was the most nothing event. And then someone said, he's going to use that on stage. I was and I paused for a second, and then I just said, how would I talk about this on stage? Nothing happened.
So many times in my life. So many times.
We have to stop just nodding to end the conversation and just let's just start asking questions.
So many times. Hey, don't use that, Nick. Don't use that. Every office I ever worked in. Don't use that in your routine. I'm like, do you understand how much exposition would be involved? I'd have to explain all of you. This isn't like a water cooler conversation where everybody knows everyone. Everybody knows everybody's past. You can make these quick jokes. Everybody's got the same information. What do you, how? It would take me 2 minutes to explain it.
Right.
And then I would just say, oh, she always uses three cups at the water cooler. I mean, it just...
Yeah, right. And it's even if you had the exposition, it's not a funny thing.
Sure.
Is the problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, dude, you know those root beer barrels that you sent me for my birthday?
Love them.
Right. So when I had my palate spacer, I used to love those root beer barrels. And I remember one day I'm in first grade and I'm sucking on it and it slipped up above. So the palate spacer, it's almost like a catwalk in the top of your mouth.
That's a perfect way to put it. Uh-huh.
It slipped up above it and got stuck. It was lodged between the roof of my mouth and the palate spacer.
Jeez.
And was there for about 4 or 5 hours. It was, utter panic. And then I got home and I told my mom and she just started giving me warm beverages to like.
You couldn't get like a toothbrush back there and just knock it out,
dude. Lodged. Like I must have pushed it up there with my tongue.
So she melted it.
Like, yeah, and like even the heat from my mouth didn't melt it enough. It was just there from lunchtime until my mom got home from work.
It's like when my brother had he couldn't blow his nose or something. He wasn't breathing right, and they took him to a doctor, and he just had a whole lot of gum inside of his nose. It just had a wad of gum in his nose that they just had to pull out. That's kids right there. That's kids. That's all you need. They're like, why? And he's like, oh, I wanted to save it for later. I'm like, that's revolting.
How old was he?
Even for a kid, I don't know, 5, 6, who knows? Old enough to know, like just old enough to know better, where you're like, and that kid should know not to put gum in his nose in it. And also that it won't be any good later.
I used to love like the giant, the square sugary gum when we were kids. I don't even know if they sell that anymore, like Bubblicious and Hubba Bubba.
Sure, they do.
You know what I'm talking about? They do. So one night I'm staying at my grandma's, and I guess I threw a piece in my mouth right before bed, and I'm chewing it. And I guess I fell asleep. I woke up in the morning. Somehow it had fallen out of my mouth and got stuck to my neck. And then I did this. I woke up and
your head was stuck to your shoulder.
Yes. It was stuck. Like my grandma was just trying to figure out, like, I think it was like some sort of mineral oil or something that she had to just go like a little bit at a time to separate it because it had stuck and dried.
Here comes the nail polish remover. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Open your, lift your neck as much as possible. I got some vegetable oil over here.
Because I had no idea what it was. It was like I woke up, I was like, Nanny, I can't move my head.
Yeah. It's really a best case scenario as far as a neck issue. I think my neck's broken. Actually, you're an idiot. And gum fell out of your mouth in the middle of the night.
Yeah, gum fell out of your nose and onto your neck. So last Saturday, I'm doing a show right before I go on. Or right when the show starts, Rachel calls me. And like we had been at like this outdoor party before this, and I left from there to go to the show. She was staying and taking an Uber home or getting a ride home. Well, I'm at my show. Host is on. My phone rings. She never calls me when I'm at a show. I answer. I say, hey, is everything okay? And she goes, we're locked out of the house. She has our dog too. And I said, you're locked out. And she's like, yeah, I guess I didn't bring my keys with me. And, it gets really dark around my house at night, and there's like a lot of wildlife and stuff. And I'm in, 30 minutes away from home. And I go, okay, all right. I'm so sorry. I was like, we have a couple friends in the neighborhood. I was like, you want to text them to see if you can go to their house or something? And, I'll come home as soon as I can.
Not ideal. Yeah.
None. They were all gone too. And she was like, well, I'll just, go inside the fence and just stand there, for a little bit. And I said, okay. I said, I'm supposed to go at the end, but I'll ask you to go next. And she's like, okay, cool. Right. So then I go to the back of the room, and our good friend Greg Edwards is on the show. Mm-hmm. And I say, I told Greg, I was like, dude, I gotta go next because Rachel and our dog are locked out. And he just laughs and he goes, man, you're a comic, aren't you? And I said, what do you mean? And he goes, you still doing the set? And I said, would you just go? I said, would you just go home? And he goes, absolutely.
Really?
And I go, didn't even occur to me. So then I had this thing in my head that I was like, oh man, it didn't even cross my, like, if we lived in a dangerous neighborhood, that would be a different thing. But
right.
But it's like, it's
not your
coyotes
place.
And raccoons and stuff. But it's not like, but it didn't even occur to me. You still have done the set, right?
And I mean, if it was the place that I lived in LA, tickets. I probably would have had to debate going back, but especially if my kids were out there because it wasn't a great area. But in general, I would do the set. I mean, I'm almost there. Yeah. I would try to go up first, sure. But the idea of like canceling right then when it wasn't even my fault.
That's what I think. It puts the show in a bad place. It was sold out, $25 a ticket. I'm like, you can't.
Did they put you up first?
Yeah, he just put me next. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there was like, because the host was already on stage, he just had someone doing like a 5 or 6 minute guest spot.
Yeah.
Who was already going to go next, and then put me after that. So it was really nice.
What'd you do? 20?
I think it was 15.
Yeah, I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah, 15 or 20. Yeah,
15, 20 is perfect.
Yeah. Do you have predictive texting?
Yeah, of course.
On your phone.
Yeah.
So it's never right. Like, even like the AI summaries of texts. I had a text the other day that like the AI text summary on my phone just said pleasure offered.
What?
Yeah, and I click on it. And it was like from it was just someone was like, "Hey man, this is great."
What do you mean? I don't understand.
The AI summary was pleasure offered, and it was like, "Hey, this is great. Like, you should check it out," or something.
Oh, wow. Okay. No, I didn't. Maybe I don't know what you mean by the AI summary. So the AI like summarizes your text thread?
Yeah, basically, if you have one of the past 2 generations of iPhones, it may only be the Pro. I don't know. But
that sounds so fun.
If you have like 25 things, you get a so I'm in this fantasy basketball text thing. Sometimes I'll look at my phone and I have 250 texts.
Okay.
It'll just summarize them for me.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
And it's not. Sometimes it gets the gist of it. It's usually a little adjacent to it. But I had a suggested text the other day that Rachel texted me something. She was having a really hard time with something, and the suggested response was, "Ha ha, sounds like a busy day." Can you imagine?
Yeah, I kind of wish I had it, just because I always get those scam text, which are usually like, "Hey, are you ever coming over?" But my favorite one, I think I told you, was, "When are you going to come by and pick up your tent?" So that's been my favorite one, because when are you going to come by and pick up your tent? I don't know how many people that would work with, but maybe 1 out of every 5,000 people have left a tent at someone else's house for longer than 3 or 4 days, or really like maybe 2 or 3 months. Like, it's got to be someone who left a tent at someone else's house, and that person is about to move, and they're like, "When are you going to come pick up your tent?" I don't know, 1 out of every 10,000 people, maybe. But that if it reaches that person, they've got to believe it's legit.
And then what do they do? Like, can you send me? Oh, wait a minute. Let me just ship it to you because we're going out of town. Can you just give me your bank? Can I have your bank?
Put $80 in escrow.
yeah, right. It's hard to figure out how they monetize that one, but I'm sure they had a plan. But
it's always a long-term thing.
Yeah, I think something like that, you got to engage. You have to say, "Oh yeah, what's a good time for you?" And then the next one is, "What's your address again? I can't. It looks like I didn't save it." Just you got to get in there, man.
Which tent was it? Was it the wedding tent, or was it just the little pop-up that I got from Costco? Which one was it?
Right. Is it the circus tent, or so?
I've left tents at a lot of my friends' houses, and I lost this a number. So.
I currently have 10 tents that are missing. Can you describe it?
Every time I get kicked out of someone's house, I leave a tent there, so I have an excuse to go back. That's just what I do. So you got the right man.
Do you remember when, like, I remember when we lived in New York, the best way to find an apartment to avoid broker fees was on Craigslist, right?
Yeah.
Because you could get them from people who were the owners directly from them. Some were clearly scams, right? So there was one. I mean, it was this apartment should have been like $10,000, and it was, I don't know, probably $2,500, something like that.
Okay.
For like this 2-bedroom on the Hudson.
What? And, wow. Okay.
And so I'm like, this is clearly fake, but let's have some fun. So we go back and forth, and he's like, "Oh, I'm actually out of town, so I can't show it. But I can. I'm gonna send like via DHL the keys, and I'll have my associate there show it to you." He's like, and then it was like, then they try to work into like, just so there's a deposit, can you wire just to hold, and then I'll send it back to you, just since I'm not
right
garbage, right? So as soon as he hits the scam level, I go, I forgot to mention, I do have pets. Is that going to be okay? And they said, yeah, sure. What kind of pets do you have? And then one email at a time, I just kept escalating until the final one was a porcupine. And I said, but he's really friendly. He's like good around people and stuff. And he doesn't just like leave quills or in things.
Yeah, over the span of 2 days, you go from like a guinea pig to like, it's a baby hippo, but it's just a baby. It's very cute.
I convinced him that the raccoon would be fine. And then after the porcupine, he stopped responding.
Well, it's nice to know that you wasted his time.
Speaking of waste time, man. So
that's what we're doing right now. We're killing time.
So the other day, I'm in Canada doing shows right now, right? We're driving from Ottawa to Toronto, which is like 4 to 5 hours if you don't do what I did. So we're looking for coffee. Paul's driving, and I see an exit off the highway. It was like 14 kilometers. Equator Coffee, and I'm like, what? They have Equator Coffee here? Let's do it.
I've never heard of Equator Coffee, but it sounds
that's great.
Better than Tim Hortons.
It's premium. That's the coffee they serve at French Laundry.
Okay.
And I'm like 14 kilometers, but hopefully it's in the right direction. If it's not, it's all right. So we get off, we start going, and I'm like, this kind of looks like it's the wrong direction. He's like, yeah, but it's okay. It's a little diversion. We get further out here. I'm like, I can't believe Equator has a roasting place here, because I thought they were San Francisco based. And I was like, this must be their Canadian headquarters. We get farther and farther. Once we're like maybe 1 mile out, I'm like, I wonder if this is the Equator Coffee or a different Equator Coffee.
Yeah. It's like McDowell's. It's basically McDowell's.
It's exactly what we're like. Why would it be this remote? If they're going to have a Canadian one, you would have it in a city.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have it an hour and a half from the nearest city. How are they shipping things?
But they call the same thing, right? I mean, it's...
Yeah, Equator Coffee.
All right.
So I tell Paul, I was like, okay, if the name of it is not written in red with a black background, we fucked up.
We've been had.
And we get there, it's just a completely like different thing. And I discover the difference is Equator Coffees versus Equator Coffee.
What?
And it's next door to another place that has it called Dandelion Foods, which is also a place in San Francisco.
Next to GoBots? Was that what was next to it?
right. Dude, anyway, it added an hour to our drive.
It's worth it though for the tail. I mean, I'd love to go in. I remember there was a breakfast cereal out for a little bit that had their mascot was like a 3-toed sloth. It didn't last for very long, but it was like, it was like a Honey Smacks kind of spin-off with a sloth on it. I don't remember the name, but I wish I could have seen that factory. So it's worth it.
That's funny. Well, I did this to my friends in Vegas too. This is like my, early 20s, first time there. Like, I'm staying on the Strip, and we're at Caesars, and we're going to the Rio. Looking back, I don't know why. Why would you go out of your way to go to the Rio? But it's right behind Caesars. And, I don't have money. Like, none of us did. So I was like, let's just walk. We don't need to take a cab. It's one casino back. And I think someone did say, yeah, it looks kind of far. And I'm like, it's right there.
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
It was like 110 degrees. It's about a 35-minute walk, dude.
Yeah.
110. Everyone was so furious that no one said anything.
Yeah. The only time you can say it is like 2 minutes into the walk.
Well, it came out that night. I suggested we walk somewhere else, and I was like, and someone was like, it's kind of far away, and I goes like, you can see it, and my friend Ryan goes, you can see the moon too. Do you want to walk to the moon?
You've lost your privileges, okay? You've lost them. We walked 35 minutes and 110 degrees. You're done. You're no longer our leader. You know, over the past week, you texted me and you're like, hey, let's come up with some. You're like, hey, have you ever had any bits that did great the first time you told them, and then you could just never replicate the success? Like maybe you told it the right way the first time, you recorded it, or maybe you didn't record it. You could never tell it quite the right way, or it was just in a different kind of room the first time, or you had the right energy, whatever. So I wrote down 3 that like it just never seemed to work past the first time you tell it. You're like, I got a new bit. And the first one that I can recall that it's like, I hit a home run on the first and then struck out every time after is my medieval times bit. Where
it's so good.
Thanks, man. Maybe you were there the first time. But it's basically that, like, I got an email from Medieval Times. And they said, you should come back. You should come out to Medieval Times. We've got burgers on the menu now. And just thinking how absurd that is, that would be the last kick that they needed to get people to come out. Like anyone is going out there for the food and has been waiting on more options. It's not good enough that they have jousting.
As soon as they bring poke bowls on the menu, I'm coming.
Just waiting for you to have a fucking smoothie in that place. I've always really liked the idea, but just like, who is going to Medieval Times for the food?
Yeah.
Like, hey, you want to go to Six Flags? No. Well, I heard they got a good chef now. They got a new one. It's like, yeah, okay, I'm game.
I'm all ears. I'm all ears. Hold on.
But another one.
I think it's so funny.
Thanks, man. It's not. The people say it's not. But another thing I did years ago was this thing that, like, I went to IU, and like everybody else, like, I get hit up for donations and they'll call me. And obviously what bothers me most about it is that, like, I'm not in school anymore. How is society okay with this? We're okay with they provided a service and it's been over for a long time, and they're still hitting you up for money. Like, you've already paid. Like, Valley Honda isn't still hitting me up to help them keep the lights on.
Right.
It's inexplicable. But more egregious than that is that it's not hard to look up
Honda
how much.
Owner, would you be willing to pledge $1,000 to us
as your alumni, your car alumni? But it's not hard to look up.
Owner of a Civic, would you be willing to pledge $600 a month to Honda?
Civic pride. We're all in this together. Yeah, maybe if car dealerships had like sports teams, like, I could really rally behind it. Maybe that's the only thing holding them back. But look, IU has a $3.5 billion endowment, right? I'm sure that's almost standard for state universities. They're incredibly, like, they've got money coming out of their ears, and I am in between jobs and by all accounts unhireable. Why are you asking me for money? Why am I not asking you for a refund? That is what seems so, like, why can't I call you at dinner and be like, hey, this diploma you sold me is broken. It doesn't work. Can you give my dad his $80,000 back? And then maybe he'll loan me some money. I just, it's so, there's no sense in any of it. Like, and also they track how your career is going. So when they call you up, they're clearly reading off of a script, but they know loosely what you've done with your life. And so they ask my friend for like $500. And then when they call me, they stutter and like him and ha. And then they're like, do you have $650? So If I'm gonna say no either way, but at least do me the service.
Do they say it slowly, like they're calculating? Like, we need from can you pledge $6.50?
Can you just give us a good Yelp review? How about that? Right. But I'm gonna reject it. I'm gonna say no because it's absurd. But at least do me the service of asking me for a lot of money, because rejecting $6 is a lot harder to do. Like, come in at 1,900. I'm like, absolutely not.
Right.
But don't ask me for $6. It's just too humiliating, especially if it's a speakerphone thing.
Exactly, man. But dude, that is such a great point that we should be able to call on the endowment to cover some meals for us, to cover our health, and they should pay for our COBRA insurance.
This is my final point. This is my final point, is that if you're a college and you sold us this diploma, right? And you educated us. I feel like, wouldn't it be better if universities were on the hook for your career as well? Wouldn't it? Like, what happens when you graduate?
Unless you got a bullshit degree.
Most graduates go back home and live with their parents, the very people who paid for that education, which is bullshit. I feel like universities should have an extra dorm for all of the people that graduated with a bullshit degree and they can't get a job. They should have a dorm for the art students and then an adjacent dorm for the art students that just graduated. That's what they should have.
Because it is crazy that, like, oh yeah, we accept 30 people into our law program every year, and we accept 400 into our history of short lesbian painters from Peru program. And it's like, it's immoral. Like, you're taking their money knowing they cannot turn this into anything.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're not promising anything, don't look. Maybe it's as simple as remove the whole "we're preparing you for life" thing from your website, from any of your speech. Remove it. Do not. If you want to just say, we're going to teach you some stuff that's interesting, great. But you can't say that you're preparing someone for life by teaching them about Rodin and all of his sexual exploits for 2 years.
Yeah,
you're just not.
It should just say, like, Vanderbilt University, this is mostly a business.
It is. It's $80,000 to go there now. $80,000.
$80,000 a year?
Yeah, my nephew just went and looked at it, maybe a touch more. But he was just like, I can't. I mean, what? How?
Oh my!
What? How do you justify this? Well, our food's great. Who gives a shit about why do these 20-somethings? You're saying that kids who save up pool their money for a carton of Natty Light care about like a salad bar, or that you have sea bass on Wednesdays? Like, why do they have to have good food?
$300,000 in debt just so you can have good salads for 4 years.
Yeah, exactly right.
I had no financial education growing up. Right, my parents didn't have money, so there was no wisdom to impart. Right, and I was very bad. Like, I got paid well for a college student because of the job I had that I've talked about on here. But I blew it. I made sure I was out of money by the time my next paycheck came in, right? Every week. But I still knew, like, the other school, like, I chose my school because it was the cheapest of the ones, like, cheapest good school, basically, I got into. Like, one of the schools I was looking at was Villanova. And then I'm like, I can't even, Villanova and Drexel and Oberlin, the music conservatory. I can't even consider this because I can't have 6-figure debt. Like, that's like a just insurmountable number. Like, I couldn't even imagine paying that, because, like, even I think my parents covered like half of mine, and then I think I came out of it with $25,000 in debt or something. But then after interest, I probably paid $50,000 or something by the time it was paid off. But
it's unreal. My brother-in-law went to a pretty famous, blanking, art program, graduate program in Southern California. And he did well, but he came out and he had over $200,000 in debt. $200,000. And He's teaching now. He's got a good job, but you're still talking about $200,000, and maybe it'll be forgiven after a certain time. But can we stop pretending? It's like when older generations will be like, well, I paid for school. I worked my way through school, which is impossible now. Because they were speaking about like they paid for a full tuition while they were in school. I'm like, well, that's because school for you was $600 for the year. Like, can you not make? Can you stop with that comparison?
That's 100% true. But then at the same time, it actually has not gone up since the 90s. So
fine. I'm talking about people who talk about their like college in the 60s.
I know what you're talking about, where it was like literally $400 a year. But since the 90s, like, so the bottom line number, wait a minute, I'm getting top line and bottom line mixed up. The top line number has gone up. In other words, like what they say it is, but then what the students are actually on the hook for has stayed the same. It's just because there's more grants and stuff like that.
What sucks to me is people who are like you, who they pick the school that's like the best school, that's the cheapest best school. You could be way more qualified to get into the great school. We'll call that Villanova. But you don't go to Villanova because you're like, on the back end, I can't handle it. But someone who's rich, who did worse than you and is less qualified, they get into Villanova because they can pay the full amount.
That's how it works.
It is. It's absolutely how it works. And so it's hard to refute that it's a business. How do you argue otherwise?
It's Harvard too. If you get into Harvard and you're rich, great. If you get into Harvard and you're poor, they'll pay for it. If you get into Harvard and you're middle class, best of luck to you.
Yeah. Then really, you're at a point where you're like, you make just enough money to not get any benefit and get completely screwed.
Yep.
And not only are you screwed,
we
everyone
were
else
just over that line.
Yeah. It's really, it's the worst place you can be.
I remembered one joke. So, I mean, I know just like every comic, I have tons of those joke like examples, like you were saying, where it worked that once and never worked again. I can remember one as a concept. This is from probably 15 years ago. I don't remember the joke, but I remember the concept was, like what a broadcaster or TV station thinks about you based on the commercials that are playing during the shows you watch. And the concept was like, if you're watching a TV show and then there's suddenly a commercial for gold, they don't respect you. They think you're an idiot. Okay, turn it off. Like, and I had a few other examples there, but
Charlie, I'm doing my thing. Sorry, bud. Can you close the door, buddy? Yeah, they think you're a moron.
Yeah, that was the concept. I remember it killed the first time, and then like 3 more times. I mean, so cricketish that
I mean, maybe they took it. Maybe they were offended.
This to myself.
Maybe you got to go with the collector's plate. The collector's.
It was all in Manhattan. I don't think they were offended. I think they just didn't find it funny. I used to have a joke about collector's plates. It was like a brief thing I did in 2008 or 2009 when Obama was elected. And this is actually, I had this on YouTube. I don't think it came down, but I just remember it was about like when Obama got elected, there were these commercials for commemorative plates.
Yes.
And I was like, there is no intersection of the Venn diagram between people who support Barack Obama and people who buy collector's plates. I was like, collector's plates are strictly owned by old racist white people.
Wait, I mean, what are they going to do? We're going to move the Nazi plates over if we can just make room for our first African-American president plates.
Right. Like,
I'm equal opportunity. I want all the plates.
Right. They're acting like some like cosmopolitan 30-year-olds and be like, oh, let's get that commemorative plate in the house.
It's absolute shit, by the way. Like, yeah, no. There was another one that I did about going to a drive-through safari with my kids in like Wisconsin. And this buffalo that came up to the window, and like the basically his dick was like bottom of the window height. It was the worst possible. Like, I wish they took that into account. Like, we're only going to have animals that like their heads are in the right place for the window, but not like their dicks. Can we at least just not even have males in that case? But the buffalo that came up to the window, his dick was window height. Can we just not have males? And like my daughter's window was rolled down and it's just there, just sitting there. Like, I think I said this, like if you're in somebody's kitchen that's not yours, sometimes their counter will be lower and you go over to get a cup and for about half a second, your balls are just sitting on the counter. You're like, oh, let me go get this. The glasses are up here. Oh, now it's just sitting on the counter. Do you have a Clorox wipe? Even though I'm wearing
Let me
pants?
ruin your house for a minute.
Yeah. So that's how the buffalo was. And I'm like, my daughter's just sitting there with like a cup of feed, but it's his dick right there. And like, I just like, what is she going to do? And she just laughed at it to the buffalo's face. I'm like, it's one thing to do that to like a dog when he read rockets, but like you don't want to make a buffalo mad by emasculating him. And we both just ended up laughing. And I realized in the end, it's probably a good thing that that's her first, like her gut reaction is to laugh at a penis. Probably, for a long time. So that's another one that did like, I think I was actually in Montreal when I told that bit. And I don't even think my set went well. And I decided I'm just going to close on this new bit that I like, what the hell? Why not? And it did great at the end. And then I think that was the only time ever. So like, there's an instance of like, maybe that was the one crowd that didn't like anything but that bit. And every other crowd doesn't like that bit and likes the other stuff.
I think it's excellent. And it's also like, I mean, you had a point. It's like, okay, cities have decided to use, I mean, I think it's a bad call, but mostly male trees, right? That's like for decor in the streets. It's mostly male trees because they don't want fruit.
Why?
Yeah, which is why pollen is so bad in cities.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's 100%. Yeah, because they don't want the fruit. They don't want fruit because then they've got to it'll rot. They got to clean it up and stuff. It's like, doesn't it make more sense to have both than you have fruit? Like, isn't that a good thing? I would think.
And less pollen.
And it makes the pollen worse. I think you have a good point. In any animal exhibit where you might see the crotch, let's not do male. There's never been a wildlife penis that you accidentally see that doesn't disturb you.
No, it's gawk worthy. You're like,
I've seen donkey, elephant, and turtle. It don't Google it. I saw a clip online one time because it was just like, you gotta see this, and it was. I didn't want to think about it, man.
It was so disturbing that I almost pulled the rhino thing that you were talking about the other day. Even though this was years ago, I almost rolled down my window since we were on the same side of the car and I'm driving, and tried to put my finger in the buffalo's ass just to get him away from my daughter's window. Like,
oh my God.
Stop like resting your dick on my windowsill. It's gross, man.
Hey, let me ask you
a reaction.
Can I ask you a hypothetical question?
You're going to ask me? Oh, I've got two. Okay.
Okay. It's a quick one though.
Yep.
Let's just say you are a middle school or elementary school PE teacher. Okay. You have just won American Idol. There are 3 weeks of school left because this actually happened. Are you finishing the school year?
So when does is it a residency in Vegas? Is that what they get?
I have no idea, but I know they get money.
I think they get a residency in Vegas. So just for the terms of the hypothetical, which way do you want to go, money or residency?
I think it's probably both, right? You probably get cash plus residency.
So like what, $250,000 in a residency? And a residency starts.
But you also just have a career. If you put an album out, people are going to buy it. You have a career.
I'd finish the 3 weeks. I would, because
you would?
Would
you just go all Red Rover every day?
Right. I don't know how much preparation you do as a gym teacher at the end of the year, but it'd be dodgeball.
Yeah.
We're doing dodgeball, kids.
Yeah, exactly. You bring out the games that are banned is what you do. The games that have been banned in the last 15 years, like, guys, we're playing Red Rover, we're playing dodgeball,
you're running the mile again. We're going to work on our mile times.
We're playing smear the something.
Yeah, I wouldn't give any grief to all the goth kids that came in and like just had to walk around like holding an orange cone since they didn't want to put on their gym clothes.
Yeah.
Nothing. It's just like straight A's.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like it doesn't matter anyway.
Just go for it.
Yeah, and none of the teachers would
You don't
care.
want to sweat. You don't want to play sports. You don't have to play sports. Not everyone needs to know how to play baseball.
No. Very few people, in fact. Very few people. Maybe you would help. Why don't you guys play baseball and you other guys learn 5 minutes of baseball conversation that you can use throughout your life? That will be more useful to you than being able to hit a ball.
Right.
All right, I got a hypothetical for you. I got two of them. One's super quick. You can run 35 miles an hour, but you forget every single great set you've ever had. All you remember are the terrible ones.
No, I don't want it.
You can run 35 miles an hour.
I mean, I could be the fastest man on earth by a long shot in history.
Yeah,
why not?
But I mean, basically, you have no memory of a good
caveat,
set.
Like I can, but I can be an Olympic. Like I can run this fast forever, right? So I can do the Olympic trials, and let's just say I run it in jeans and a jacket.
Yeah,
and then I'm the fastest man in history in a jeans and a jacket. Absolutely. Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, it would be pretty badass. It would be pretty badass. Okay. So
wear a backwards hat in the Olympics.
This one I asked quite a few people, and people had different opinions. So here it is: $500,000 cash, of course, for cutting off your own pinky. Now, hang on, not done yet. Cut off your own pinky for $500,000. Now, if you want Samuel L. Jackson to cut off your pinky for you, you get 5% less. But he does it. And he it's more fun. He yells some fun things from Pulp Fiction, whatever you want, for 5% less. He gets 5% of the $500,000. Or if you want 15% more, so $575,000, Lena Dunham cuts off your pinky. So which one do you choose? You cut off your pinky for $500,000.
This is psychotic.
You have.
Do I have to? Can I just keep my pinky?
Yeah, if you're a loser and you don't want the $500,000 in cash.
The thing, it's a tough one because I don't think my pinky adds $500,000 of
it doesn't.
Quality of life.
No, absolutely not. But $500,000 in a bag.
I think I'm too vain to lose my pinky.
Wow, you must be really rich over there, just sitting pretty.
If it was, no, not one bit. But if it was required, I would do Lena Dunham for the 15% premium, just because you've got to take more money because 5% less is $475,000. So it's $475,000 versus $575,000. It's crazy. I don't have to hang out with Lena Dunham for a month or something.
That's my answer too. I would do $575,000. Let Lena do it. Yeah. It would be more fun. The other people that I asked all picked Samuel L. Jackson.
It doesn't matter. If you said for 20% more, Sandusky does it, I'd be like, all right, then Sandusky does it.
Even if he gets out of prison. Like, all right, well, now you're asking the wrong guy since I'm such a defender.
Yeah. We got to wrap up, but I have conspiracy theories for you.
Yeah, do it. Let's do it.
Should I do them?
Yes.
Okay. I have conspiracy theories for you as a segment we do where it's called I have conspiracy theories for you. I have 2 actual conspiracy theories and then one I made up. Okay. You need to tell me which one's real. I think I might be giving you too much information on all these.
Wait. You just said there are 2 that are real and one you made up. And I need to pick the one that's real, but there are 2 that are real.
Last week. Yeah,
so
2 were real. One I made up.
So I need to pick the one that's made up.
I made up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you said yeah. Whatever. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry. Number one, it's called the dead internet theory, aka fake internet theory.
Okay.
All right. Citing posts from major online discussion forums like 4chan, the theory claims that non-human bots are responsible for almost all online activity and content creation. At a top level, like the concept is AI and chatbots automatically churn out social media posts designed to get clicks, comments, likes on social media. And they do this because more engagement leads to more ad dollars. But the accounts responding to these posts are also bots and AI. That's what the conspiracy says, right? So in other words, everything is happening between machines. No humans are intervening. And this is 95% of the internet. So anyway, as you go deeper down the rabbit hole, some dead internet proponents argue that government organizations use these bots to manipulate human opinions. And people who say this say that the internet died around 2016, 2017, and we just didn't know it back then. Okay? That's dead internet theory. Number two, it's the U.S. Airlines Flight 666. Okay? So U.S. Air Flight 666 in 1983 disappeared over the North Atlantic in an area known as the Nordic Triangle. No traces of the plane were found on top of the sea nor at the bottom, aside from a single U.S. Air seat buckle that was found at the foot of the grand staircase of the Titanic. And the Titanic was actually found incidentally because the Reagan administration ordered an all-hands-on-deck search for U.S. Air Flight 666. Once they found the Titanic, everyone forgot about the plane, including the 213 people who died aboard it, all right? And there are two deeper conspiracies around this plane. One is that Satan himself was on it and brought the plane down because he felt he was being mocked by U.S. Air using his sign 666 as the flight number. The other is that by using the number 666 and flying over the Titanic, whose Royal Maritime Registry number was 666, created a hellgate opening, pulling the flight down over the Titanic and destroying every trace of the plane and sending everyone on the plane directly to hell. Okay?
Okay. All right. Mm-hmm.
Number three, the Denver airport is a hub for the Illuminati. So gargoyles overlook the baggage claims there. Murals depict scenes of war and horror. There's a 32-foot blue horse with red eyes presiding over the road leading in and out of the terminal, okay? You have all this kind of creepy art there, okay? And all this leads to proof that the airport is secretly the headquarters of the Illuminati, a shadowy group that runs the world. Theorists spin alternative explanations of the airport's odd decor. For example, an inlay on the floor with the symbols for gold, which is AU, and silver AG, which reference Colorado's mining history. But the conspiracy say it's a secret message about a made-up pathogen known as Australian antigen. All right? And a mural decrying war and wishing for world peace becomes a warning about a totalitarian future, okay? And all this was built, according to these conspiracy theorists, on top of a 6-story bunker where the elites will hunker down to ride out the rest of the world. And this bunker also currently operates as a prison for dissenters and those who wish to inform the world about the operations of the Illuminati.
Okay, so I'm supposed to pick the one that you made up, correct?
Yes.
I think you made up the last one. You made up the last one, right?
Incorrect.
No.
Nope.
That's a real one?
That's a real conspiracy.
Is the second one a real conspiracy?
The Denver airport is... What's that?
Is the second one a real conspiracy? The U.S. Air 666?
U.S. Air Flight? Yeah. Made that up.
Ah. Goodness, it's
Dude,
so...
When I wrote the words Royal Maritime Registry number, I was like, Nick's going to think this is real. That was... I was like, that's where I locked it in.
Well, I was leaning towards that being the one that was made up, because it's just something that I would have heard about at some point, and I should have stuck with that. Should have stuck with my gut.
Yeah.
Goodness, that was a pretty good one.
Dude, the crazy thing about the dead internet theory is that there's a shred of truth to it, because 50% of online traffic is bots.
No, that's 100% why I didn't say that. Yeah.
Yeah. And they are and it's often state-run propaganda, run by bots. And but
they
was
engage with each other all the time.
That was an extreme thing to say.
Yeah. It's just,
you go to Twitter.
That's way too
bots
plausible.
Arguing with bots.
Yeah. It's way too plausible.
Yeah. It's just. Are you ready for Rank Them?
Yes, I am.
Okay, guys. Rank Them is a game we play every episode where I list 3 attributes for the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. This person is perfect for you in every way except for these 3 defining characteristics. It's identical. It's your significant other, okay? Unless you hate your significant other, then it's not them. Number 1, this person has the forearms. Forearms are the texture and smell of Twizzlers. Okay?
Like really sinewy? Yeah, okay.
Texture and smell of Twizzlers, all right? Number 2 is wanted in a country that we have an extradition treaty with.
Okay.
However, the person slightly changed his or her name and is safe for now.
Okay.
But could get wrapped up at any moment. We don't know if it's going to happen. We don't know when it's going to happen. But they are wanted, and we have an extradition treaty with that country.
Okay.
Number 3, wears a Newt Gingrich Contract with America t-shirt every single day.
Okay, I got a question about the second one. Is this a murder charge? Like, what? I'm more concerned with the crime that was committed.
It's not going to be life. Let's just say it's a 5 to 10 year sentence.
Okay, are they guilty?
But it could be a country where the prisons are not good. Yeah, they're guilty. Yeah.
Goodness, I would say
we call it a financial crime if you need that to happen.
I would probably, goodness. I mean, that would be way more about, this goes off the topic, really. That'd be way more about how moral and ethical they are, and would they steal my money and like what little money I have. Yeah. Be more about that. But I'm going to remove that to the side and just say that they're a great human being and that they just happen to be wanted.
They're identical to the Newt Gingrich t-shirt person.
Yeah. So I would say that my most preferable would be the extradition. And then is Newt Gingrich.
Are you thinking? Oh, are you thinking worst case scenario? I get 5 to 10 years to myself.
Yeah, where
I can eat meals that I want.
I feel like if they change their name, change the look a little bit, and it may be kind of exciting in a way. Yeah, I don't know. As long as they're basically a decent person. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I can't stand the idea of like having someone with Twizzler arms. That's just way worse. That's number 3. Newt Gingrich isn't great.
Twizzler arms is number 3.
Newt Gingrich is number 2. Yeah. That was a pretty easy one, to be honest.
We're almost the same. I think Twizzlers smell great, but I can't touch that.
I mean, you just asked, would I rather have someone who has weird fashion sense or someone who has licorice hands? I mean, what are you going to... Of course. Would I rather... Yeah, I'll take the weird Newt Gingrich fan. Sure. Okay. I mean, it's honest. It could just be that like she doesn't care at all what the shirt says, and that it's just a great shirt and it feels good. Who knows?
Right. So that would be my number 1, because I think enough time has elapsed where it probably comes off as ironic. There was a time where it would be like, oh, this person's like trying to destroy our social safety net in our country.
Yeah.
I
No,
can't
you're
get
right. That
behind
is
this
number one.
in any way.
You're right. That's number one.
But enough time has passed where, yeah, it's like if I ever see like a Reagan shirt, I'm like, I don't even know if this person knows what that means.
Yeah. A Reagan,
You know?
A Reagan shirt is kind of like seeing someone wear a shirt for, mellow yellow. It's just kind of like a really more of a fashion
Seattle
thing.
Supersonics. You're like,
yeah, I had a Supersonic shirt for a long time.
Yeah.
You're right. That's number one.
I go Reagan extradition Twizzlers because I will sacrifice 5 to 10 years in order to not touch Twizzler forearms.
Yeah, especially if like it's in a sexual way and like you touch it, I'm out of it. As soon as I touch that licorice, I can't do it. It's like the hot dog finger.
Yeah.
It takes me out. I can't do it.
You know what? I take hot dog fingers over it, but yeah, it's the same family. The hot dog fingers, the weirdest part is there's no joints. Well, thank you guys for listening to Conner vs. Cobb. And Nick, what would you like to, anything you'd like to promote, sir?
Well, I'm back at CG's in Bolingbrook tonight, which is going to be too late. Next week, I've got a show in Rockford. That could be pretty fun at the Cantina. It's true. And I got a few other things around. I think I'm on a Don't Tell on Friday, the June 6th in Naperville.
What can people look this up somewhere? Can they get details on your social media?
It'll have to be on my Instagram,
where
Nick Cobb
this
78
can actually make sense to people. Okay.
Nick Cobb 78 on Instagram. There you go.
It's like,
sorry,
you're giving a mix of half information and things that have already happened. You're like, anything you'd like to promote? Well, I had a swim meet about 20 years ago, and I'm going to be somewhere soon.
Yeah, I'm going to be in California for
if you go
one
to my
night.
website,
Don't know
Ryan
where.
If you go to my website, ryanconnercomedy.com, you can see links to a special, a book, my book, The Party. It's a novel. You can also buy tickets to see me in June. I'll be in Phoenix, and from September through October, I'll be in Chicago with Nick Cobb. I'll be in Edmonton. I'll be in Vancouver, Minneapolis, Philadelphia, and DC. I'm going to add some more dates soon, but yeah, all at ryanconnercomedy.com. And that's it. Thank you guys for listening. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Just a couple of guys palling around, coming out of your speakers, a beautiful sound. They debate, berate, and have a laugh or two. Conner v. Cobb, for me and for you. La 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 la, la 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 la. Conner v. Cobb, for me and you.
Ryan and Nick. Nick and Ryan. The Scoundrels of the Hour.